This is the explanation of fiscal year 2025 MQCD quality system viewpoints. I explain in units of the 29 middle categories in total. This time, at the first half, I explain the middle categories from 1-1 to 5-3. In doing so, this type of slide is used. The layout of this slide from the left side is a summary of the large categories and the middle categories, what it should be, and viewpoints. Moving to the right side, it describes the small categories, and if applicable, the related global regulations. In addition, in some cases, the results of actual verifications conducted this time will be incorporated as examples. Let's start. Large category 1, management function. Middle category 1-1, global management. It consists of 6 small categories. What it should be says, lead PDCA for quality improvement at overseas sites by monitoring their quality performance, delivered quality to customer, in-process defect, and providing instruction follow-up as appropriate. To summarize the viewpoint, for MSI, it is whether they are able to grasp information such as the quality performance of every site and manage, oversee the site's quality management systems. For sites, it is whether they are able to share information with MSI. For example, through regular submission of quality monthly reports to MSI. Middle category 1-2, manufacturing management. It consists of 5 small categories. What it should be said, the management is actively and willingly engaged in improvement activities for daily quality problems with a sense of crisis of customer delivery quality results. To summarize the viewpoint, it's about whether management, especially manufacturing management, is able to actively get involved in day-to-day operation on the shop floor. I share actual verification cases related to the item framed in red. The red frames, by the way, will also be used in the same sense on subsequent slides. This is an actual verification example. Superiors didn't confirm the results of the startup inspection using the master. In addition, the records of this startup inspection were not recorded as originally intended. Middle category 1-3, Mother-Child Cooperation. It consists of 4 small categories. What it should be said, the mother site and overseas site always share information, clarify issues, and plan, and implement the countermeasures, and lead to prevention of defects and recurrence in mass production. New models. To summarize the viewpoint, it is whether cooperation with MSI is in place when a major quality issue occurs or when bad news fast occurs. Large category 2, process assurance and source improvement. Middle category 2-1, regular work instruction. It consists of 5 small categories. What it should be says, operators shall understand quality control points of regular work and carry out it according to rules of work instruction. To summarize the viewpoint, it is whether routine work is being carried out in accordance with rules such as work standards. Here, I share what kind of work is defined as regular work based on the global regulation. Regular work refers to repeated work that involves a set of sequence of an action and directly adds value to the product. Examples include processing, assembly, and dimensional measurement. This is an actual verification example. The quality characteristics column of a process sheet specifies visual inspection items. The only standard specified is no abnormalities. The point was made that it would be difficult for operators to make a pass or fail judgment based on this instruction alone. Middle category 2-2, non-regular work. It consists of 5 small categories. What it should be says, operators understand the quality control points for non-regular work and perform it as determined by work instructions. To summarize the viewpoint, it is whether non-regular work is being carried out in accordance with rules such as work standards. Here, I share what kind of work is defined as non-regular work based on the global regulation. Non-regular work can be divided into 2 categories. One is planned, the other one is unexpected. First, planned non-regular work is an item whose occurrence is predictable and which, when it occurs, impedes the process capability of regular work. For examples, this includes setup change and tool replacement operation. Next, unexpected non-regular work is an item that occurs unexpectedly and impedes the process capability of routine work. For example, this includes manual operation in automated processes and operation to recover from machine short stops. Middle category 2-3, grasping in process defects. It consists of 1 small category. What it should be says, recorded summary of scrap, side stub products, and inline repaired products. The gap between the goals is clear. To summarize the viewpoint, it is whether necessary information regarding defective products and kicked out parts can be complied and grasped. Middle category 2-4, defect reduction PDCA development. It consists of 7 small categories. What it should be says, there are goals for defect rate and fast run rate. The measures for the goals are implemented. In addition, it evaluates the actual result of the measures. As a result, it reaches the goals of defect rate and fast run rate. To summarize the viewpoint, it is whether information regarding defective products and kicked out parts, which were mentioned in perspectives 2-3 above, can be analyzed and linked to improvement activities. Middle category 2-5, manual work assurance. It consists of 2 small categories. What it should be says, each of work processes and check processes is inspected to prevent outflow of defects, and a double check system is established and operated to ensure outflow prevention. To summarize the viewpoints, it is how to compensate for mistakes that may occur due to human operation. For example, standardizing operation through work standards and implementing OJT using those standards, or having a system for skill certification and double checking, whether manual or automated, etc. Large category 3, defect countermeasures. Middle category 3-1, action check. It consists of 8 small categories. What it should be says, according to the system to verify countermeasures for outflow defects, they evaluated, verified it at workplace and with actual products and confirmed the effectiveness of the countermeasures. To summarize the viewpoint, when a quality problem occurs, the cause is analyzed through analysis report, etc. And after corrective action is taken, whether the countermeasure verification is done to verify the corrective action's effectiveness. This is an actual verification example. This is a record of real verification conducted to verify whether corrective actions had been taken as described in the analysis report. The result was that although the records indicated that corrective actions had been completed and were effective, it was pointed out that the actual condition was not yet ready to be closed. Middle category 3-2, verification of past trouble. It consists of 4 small categories. What it should be said, there is a system to reflect the past troubles, including critical quality problems, to the next model. To summarize the viewpoint, it is whether corrective measures for quality problems that occurred in the past, including critical quality issues, have been reflected in the process design of the next model, and whether recurrence has been prevented. Large category 4, compliance with rules. Middle category 4-1, status of defective product control. It consists of 5 small categories. What it should be said, defective products are identified as good products, and they are controlled not to mix with good products. To summarize the viewpoint, it is whether the kicked out parts, including defective parts, are identified, whether they are prevented from being mixed in, and whether there are any unknown parts. This is an actual verification example. It was pointed out that some measurement items were outside the standard values, but were judged to be okay without any special measures being taken. At this time, I explained to the site the difference between measurement and inspection. Measurement literally means measuring, while inspection includes not only measuring but also judging the results. In other words, we shared the importance of not just measurement but also inspection. Middle category 4-2, compliance with rules. It consists of 4 small categories. What it should be said, the compliance control of rules is organized and continuously implemented while performing improvement activities as soon as possible with the confirmation result. To summarize the viewpoint, it checks whether the organization is able to identify problems, identify issues, and implement improvements through on-site patrol, etc. Here is an actual verification example. It was about a startup inspection of a certain machine. It was discovered that items that should have been inspected had not been inspected for over a month. Large category 5, change point control. Middle category 5-1, action when a trouble occurs. It consists of 4 small categories. What it should be said, quality check in the time of trouble is carried out without omissions. Trouble records is controlled without omissions and can be traced. Production capacity check is performed if necessary and it is guaranteed. To summarize the viewpoint, it's about whether records are kept when any kind of trouble occurs. Records refers to items that ensure traceability of changes. For example, the date and the time, the person who filled out the form, the model, quantity, lot, phenomenon, details of the action taken and its results, and confirmation from the person who approved it. This is an actual verification example. At this site, a change in the setting value of the automatic inspection machine had been made the day before. In other words, a change point had occurred. I checked the change point record sheet to see if this change point had been recorded. As a result, a change point record had not been kept. Middle category 5-2. Action when changes 4M. It consists of four small categories. What it should be said, when 4M change occur, the on-site leaders and supervisors members always grasp the 4M change point and implement appropriate control to avoid defect occurrence. To summarize the viewpoint, it is whether leaders and management are aware of the change point that occur on a daily basis on site. This is an actual verification example. The introduction of a new heat sensor in the induction hardening process resulted in a change of the heat control standard value. However, this change was not reflected in the product assurance datasheet. In addition, it was signed off by management. Middle category 5-3. Information sharing. It consists of 5 small categories. What it should be says, try to share information to change points, including related departments, and assure the quality to prevent outflow of defects to next processes. The action when occurring change point is predetermined. To summarize the viewpoint, it's about whether operators are able to share the change point related information occur on a daily basis at shop floor. This concludes the first part. Thank you for listening and watching. Please continue listening and watching the second part. Thank you.